episode of Charlotte Comedians Getting Coffee in Charlotte. Today with me, I've got my friend Lily Friedman. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Amazing.
It's so delightful to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here. And we're at Summit Coffee. So have you ever been to Summit before?
No.
Okay. Is it cute? Do we like?
This is a nice place.
Yeah, I think it's nice.
I didn't go to a lot of coffee shops in Charlotte. I was very at home or at an open mic.
What did you get to drink?
This is an iced vanilla latte.
Do we like it? Is it good?
It's really good.
Okay.
It's really, really sweet, which is how I like my coffee.
Hell yeah.
It's almost just pure white.
Nice.
Which I used to get made fun of for. I make coffee every morning and I put coffee creamer in it.
Right.
And I use half a bottle of creamer a day.
Right.
I can't do black coffee at all.
I understand. It's just a lot of do you want any coffee with your creamer kind of thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, people say that to me very often.
I get that. I got a regular drip coffee today because I got, what is it called? Decision fatigue. There's so many cute options. And I was like, just the regular would be good. So Lily, I wanted to ask, how long have you been doing stand-up?
I've been doing stand-up about 2 years.
Did you have stage experience prior to stand-up?
I did improv for a long time. Not that long, a
I
while
didn't know
before
that.
Yeah.
Where did you train?
University, just in college. I did a lot of theater and improv in college, and I taught improv in college. And then basically right out of that, I wanted to do comedy, but all of the people who do comedy, built in college, are well, we're all gone now.
Yeah.
And I can't, no one there to do it with anymore. So I'm the only way I can do it is if I do it by myself on stage. So stand-up is the only option left.
Yeah.
So that's why I started stand-up.
Okay.
And I've been doing it since then.
So with your theater and improv background, how was the transition into stand-up?
I always had a very monologue-y improv style. I was never very good at character work. I don't know that I was that good at improv.
Okay.
But I think my skills in improv lend themselves well to stand-up. That I just deliver funny lines well. And I have a comedic voice.
Okay. So you feel were line games your thing? Do you like one-linery games?
I did one-linery games. When
Me
you just
too.
have to step out
Yeah.
and do whatever
Just
the director game
yeah.
is. Yeah. I liked those a lot.
Yeah.
We would just play I like my women.
Yep.
I feel I was good at I like my women.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoy those, which is just a stand-up game.
Yeah.
On your feet stand-up.
I know. A lot of stand-up comedians could really benefit from doing an improv class.
Yes.
But I think particularly the way we could get them to consider it is being let's do line games for a second. Let's do those one-liner things because I think it would give them a taste of it that felt familiar and palatable.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the valuable training for. I suck at crowd work. I never try it. And I also suck at just responding to heckles.
Me too.
They throw me off really bad. I have my script. I write a really, really detailed script. I do it to the comma. I deliver my stand-up. And it almost never varies, which I think runs me into walls sometimes of I can kind of sense this crowd isn't going to like it. I guess I'm just going to bomb today.
I'm doing it.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
You just commit.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've been trying to find ways to adapt as I go, but I'm not very good at that. And I think getting back into improv would be really valuable for that.
I thought, because I've done improv for about 3-4 years, I thought crowd work should be easy. When it's improv, the person you're improvising with, you have a mutual understanding, don't be shitty.
Yes.
And with an audience member, you don't have it.
Yeah.
There is no understanding. So
They're not required to help you.
Right.
It's funny to them sometimes if they don't.
Yeah. I'm gonna knock this comedian down a peg. And I'm well, shit.
I get transphobic heckles, or quite light transphobic. I'll do some setup about trans people got banned in the Olympics. I have a joke about that, and someone will be yippee from the crowd. And I'm what do I do with that?
I feel that's the most whimsical hate speech I've ever heard. You're just being yeah, so yippee. Yeah, the second somebody says something, especially when it's something like that, I have no idea how to pivot. So what is your strategy whenever somebody says something yippee?
Just calling out and be hey, what? Hey, what's going on? If you really just in a silly way, but in an interrogatingly way, draw attention to them. Because hecklers don't want to actually be looked at. I think it can be funny to be let's dive into that.
Yeah, are you okay?
And because I'm so tied to my script, I am also very wary of stepping too far away from it. So my heckle response tends to be shut up.
Yeah, you're hey, I'm busy.
And then I'm just I don't want to do it anymore. Most of the time I'm just please don't say anything, please don't say anything.
Yeah.
And then if they do, I'm well, that went bad.
Because like with trolls online, if somebody says something shitty, I just like delete the comment or ignore it.
Yeah.
And just tell myself
Yeah.
like that's a bot, but you can't do that in real life.
Because the crowd's not on the side of the heckler normally, unless you're in
Right.
a group of real assholes. But then they're not going to be on your side either if you're not like an absolute genius who can obliterate them.
But I think it's interesting that you write like so much detail into your sets.
Yeah.
What is your approach to like writing a new bit or like a new 5? Do you kind of write like a full 5-minute kind of like stream of consciousness and like whittle down, or?
I'm always piecing together quite long bits. I almost always start from a story or something real going on.
Yeah.
And so I know the arc of what needs to be explained.
Okay.
And then piecing that together through whatever funny lines I come up with.
Yeah.
And the funny lines are why I want such specific structure. I'm like, if I'm hitting my laughs per minute or whatever, I'm like, I know I need to get this level of exposition for this funny story to work overall. And I want every line of the funny story to have a laugh in it itself. So I need the wording to be the same. I can't do the style of where I'm like, well, I kind of know the story is humorous, and I kind of talk in a humorous way, so I'm gonna meander my way over there. And I think some people can do that really well, and like bring a crowd along and everybody really enjoys it. I don't think I can do that, but I think I do well in kind of wordplay and like snappy, like wit.
You say like something like mildly transphobic, and then you like let the audience sit in it for a second, and it feels like you're half sussing them out. Like, are we hateful or no?
I have a couple of bits like that where I'm like the audience is quiet, but I know they're listening, and I have some where like everyone's dead quiet, everybody goes like, and that is like really satisfying. And then if I know a laugh is coming soon, I wouldn't want that for an extended period.
Well, yeah, no.
And I'm always very wary of like when's the next laugh, and I like to keep them very short. And that's what like appeals to me about not just doing like a huge set of one-liners and having like longer storytelling. I bring them through a lot of emotions, and I think that keeps them hooked for longer, and I think it makes it more memorable and personable. Also, I just find that easier to write. Like I can't sit down and be like, what's a funny thought? Let me pull all the funny thoughts out of my head and put that on paper.
There's a through line. It's like a motif.
Yeah. Mitch Hedberg's one of my favorite comedians, and I always, when I go and watch him, I'm very like inspired by that. And sometimes I'll watch a really good comedian, and I'll be like, I'm gonna go write a set that feels similar to that, just as like an exercise.
Yeah.
And like that's one I can't do.
Yeah.
I write a lot of sketch as well, which feels like a similar process of like I can come up with a funny scenario, or like an exciting scenario, or I can witness an exciting scenario in my real life. And then I can come up with funny turns of phrase on how to describe that.
Of all of the comedy that you have done of like improv, stand-up, sketch, which one feels like the most like stimulating or interesting to like write or like play around with?
I'm happiest when I'm writing a sketch.
Really?
That's where I make myself laugh the most. Like I wrote a sketch the other week that I just kept reading all week. And that doesn't happen to me with stand-up. Stand-up is like, I know that'll make an audience laugh.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm like, this is really delightful to me.
Right.
But I will often write a character in sketch where I'm like, that is very, very funny to me. And I can come up with a lot of funny lines that person might say.
Right.
And I find it harder to come up with a lot of very laugh out loud lines that I might say.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
I think being able to switch hats for a second, right? To like you build a character and you're like, cool, I'm gonna think from their perspective, what would they say? Something ridiculous. Great. Like as opposed to like kind of being stuck in just your own head. Like, okay, what makes sense coming out of my face when I'm like telling a joke? Like so I think it's almost like you're giving yourself like a unique writing exercise to think from different perspectives.
Yeah.
But I think that's really, really cool. Sketch is one of those like final frontiers for me, except for I guess like being a fucking mime. How'd you get into it?
I did a lot of sketch in college as well. I was in like a little sketch group. And that one, I don't know why, I wrote sketches since I was in like middle school. That was, I guess the first comedy thing I ever did was like, I had a little like sketch YouTube group with my friends, I guess. I think that was the most accessible comedy for me as a kid. Like on YouTube, you see a lot of sketch like I grew up on like Key and Peele and Mitchell and Webb was a big one for me. But just watching so much of that and being like, this feels like magical to me. And the sketches I would write in middle school were so high concept.
Really?
We were like, we're gonna do so many props, and it's gonna be like so many different costumes.
Isn't it crazy, like when you think back to like, or you look back at stuff you wrote or created or daydreamed about as a kid, and you're like, man, there truly was like blue sky thinking. You were just like, yeah, there's no limitations. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. we'll do it. And everyone will think, like, we wrote like a cinematic universe.
I love
where,
it.
like, Santa Claus was gonna fight like a cop or something.
Amazing.
And we're like, we'll shoot it. We'll probably do CGI.
Right, of course, because Santa's definitely ACAB. Yeah, of course.
I don't know that we actually thought we could do it,
Right.
but just having fun in the process.
Yeah. So did you guys shoot it and like edit it, or?
Some of it.
Wow. You watched it since like as a grown up.
There's like different bars you reach, like 10 years after.
Yeah.
5 years after, you're like, that's horrifyingly embarrassing.
Right.
And then maybe 10 or 15 years, you're like, okay, that's starting to get cute.
How long were you in Charlotte before you moved to Chapel Hill?
About a year, because I went to school in Chapel Hill. I moved back here. I moved back there.
Got it. Okay. Did you grow up here or in Chapel Hill?
I grew up in Charlotte. It
Really?
was like a
Oh, I see. Okay. What brought you back to Chapel Hill?
Right after college, and in college, I did a lot of comedy there, and I got into stand-up a bit, and I kind of got integrated a bit in the Chapel Hill comedy scene. And then I moved to Charlotte, and I was like, I'll do the Charlotte comedy scene, which was a good training ground for sure. Chapel Hill was always like the home though. I was commuting up there so much. Like I often said to people in Chapel Hill, like, I'm just a Chapel Hill comedian who happens to live in Charlotte. And I'm like, I like it here. Like that's where I would get booked. Like my home mic in Chapel Hill, which I live like 5 minutes walking distance from now, which is really, really nice.
That's amazing.
Not a good crowd. It's not like they're civilians
Right.
or anything.
It's just comedians and
It's
creatives.
just comedians that I'm friends with, and like I know the host really well. But it's like I can do whatever my like most earnest, most myself jokes are there, and not at all worry that there's going to be a comedian there who doesn't like me for who I am, for one thing, or just like the material isn't going to land because they're like, oh, we don't appreciate that kind of thing here. And just having that playground is really valuable because it's not going to be like that in every room, and I don't expect it to be like that in every room. But it is important for me to be able to do that somewhere. And I love so much of the Charlotte comedy scene, and I met so many wonderful people here. And I wrote a lot of good stuff here, and it was really good. It's a place to get practice and practice with different audiences, which is helpful. Like I don't want it to be a crowd that's just like with me all the time, but it is helpful to have that occasionally and be like, I am at home here.
I hate that you've had to experience like so much just kind of people being shitty though. Even if it was passive aggressive shitty is still shitty. And if you give me names, I'll fight them.
I won't give names on camera.
Fine, whatever. Also, a lot of your creative renaissance, it seems, in college was in Chapel Hill. So it makes a lot of sense that you kind of got a little bit of a built-in community there already. What are some other like key differences you've seen in like the Chapel Hill comedy scene versus the Charlotte comedy scene?
Charlotte feels a lot more businessy in its comedy. Charlotte feels a lot more like we're all here doing the work. And that's great, and I like doing the work, and it's important to do the work. Chapel Hill, I've just encountered a lot more like, this one's in a backyard, and this one's in a weird venue, and this one's gonna climb a tree and do comedy or whatever the fuck. Which again, maybe is just my bias of like, the people I happen to be around are inviting me to these things, and I happen to be integrating myself in those things, more willing to go out there and find the cooler, weirder stuff. I think Charlotte comedians are incredible, and I think everyone here gets really good. And like Charlotte facilitates that really well. I think it has structures for that, and then it has structures for picking people up who do that and putting them places. And Chapel Hill, I think, has a lot more that's like, there's a lot more guitars. And there's a lot more people are gonna do fucking poetry in the middle of an open mic. And, there's gonna be a drag show sometimes and the open mic's canceled. That kind of thing, which is like just a different vibe, and it wouldn't appeal to everybody, but it does feel more homey to me.
You know what it reminds me of? It kind of feels like you're describing like Athens and Sparta. You know what I mean? Where it's like Raleigh's Athens, where it's like we're artsy, we write like plays and shit. Like we make sculptures of like boobies and stuff. And then like Sparta's like, we are business babies.
I've been doing so much with this comedy group, Black Sheep Comedy in Carver, North Carolina. Check it out.
Okay.
They have improv classes and sketch classes, and they do stand-up showcases now, which I get to host now that I stole them from Nick Noreen. I think he's gonna steal them back from me pretty soon, but
Amazing. Are you and Nick Noreen just gonna rock, paper, scissors it?
it seems like it.
Okay.
He's taking months off because he does way too much, and now I get to do it instead.
Nick does so much. I met Nick for the first time and was like, I'm sorry, when do you do laundry? Like, how do you, what do you mean?
Literally. What the hell?
It's crazy. I felt like the most unsuccessful, not 22-year-old ever.
Dude, sometimes I can't handle being around.
Wow, you whimsical, successful bitch.
But
Theater sounds really cool, though.
it's great. It's been so nice. They do monologue shows and stuff. Anyway, I wanted to mention it just because they integrate all of the different comedy art forms. It's great.
Okay,
It's
so
great.
now you're getting into sketch as like again and improv
Yes,
again? Okay.
yes,
okay.
basically because of that group. But
Oh.
yeah, I really like it and I want to do more. And I've been doing TikTok sketches for a while.
Okay.
Where I'm trying to expand it into not just me with a camera and then I
Right.
reposition it. It's me with a camera
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
are fun, but they're stressful.
When it comes to sketch comedy,
Yep.
you've performed it on stages as well as like videos of sketches, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is there one that you prefer over the other?
I haven't produced a ton of elaborate video sketches.
Right.
I like writing those more.
Okay.
Because I like just having like a bit fewer limitations.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to write something that's like this is gonna need a Netflix budget.
Right.
Generally, the best things I like writing is like something that someone's gonna see.
Yeah.
And often that's like a stage thing or a TikTok sketch that I'm filming alone,
Yeah.
which I'm happy with. Like I enjoy both the process
Sure.
of those. I think in my perfect world, it would be like I have a tiny little budget to make a video sketch.
Yeah.
That would go up on a YouTube or something.
Yeah.
Maybe someone would watch it.
Yeah.
But I do love a stage sketch. I like being in those. I don't think I'm a very good actor. I think that's the wall I run into with sketch. Because like at some point you do have to just like be able to act a little bit.
Right.
In like a not silly way. Whenever I have like a serious line, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I hope
really?
I hope I don't ruin it.
Sketch sounds like your jam. I'm glad that like you found a theater where you can kind of explore that more.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
I'm in a sketch level 1 class right now, so I'm
Hell
hoping
yeah.
not to over talk
I
myself.
bet you when I see
but-
you next month, you'll be like, anyway, I'm like sketch captain now. I'm the master of sketch and the sketch
Yeah.
master.
I like it a lot. I've been doing it a while. I have a lot of fun.
A lot of the lineups that we see is like, far as comedy shows and posters, very specific formula. Almost always going to be like 3 spots for like a cis white guy. Then they'll have maybe 1 spot for like a brown person, a black person, a girl, or a queer person. If they get all 4, that's a trifecta, I
Yeah.
guess. Quadfecta, you know. But how does that feel from your perspective?
Well, I don't want to be so full of myself that I'm like, I should be getting booked. But I am sometimes like, I should be getting booked more, right? Like,
Yes.
I know elsewhere I get booked more. I get booked more in Chapel Hill, which has a different demographic and also just different level of acceptance for minorities. But I am just like, well, but also I know some people here. I know some things that have been said to my face, have been said on stage in front of me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes sense. If these people are doing the booking, they wouldn't book me. Totally checks out. I wouldn't want to do a show for them either. I always want to be humble and like, I should be honing my craft and I should be able to kill in every room, no matter the people there, and everything is on me. And if I were good enough, I could be at any level I wanted, and I could break any barrier, you know? And that's what I want to believe, and I don't ever want to like pity myself. But that's not what it is, to be like, accept the reality of like, yeah, and people are a bit fucked, and there are some barriers.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know this too.
I do. Sometimes I've questioned, I'm like, am I funny or am I their diversity hire? I don't know actually. So when I look at it that way, sometimes I feel like, is this like a pity thing or am I good? I feel like I'm good. I feel like you're good.
Yeah, I feel like you're good too.
Thank you.
I mean, there's an in-group, and the in-group is a specific type of person.
And what bothers me about that though is like, especially hearing your experience with a lot of the people in the comedy community that are booking stuff. Like, I hate that was your experience because it also feels like it's going to push out so many unique voices that are like needed in the Charlotte comedy community, that are needed in comedy in general. Because I feel like, especially now with like that senile orange fuck in office right now, I feel like it has given a lot of like hateful people and a lot of comedians a green light to be like horrendously hateful. And so sometimes, especially right now in this administration, I feel like it can feel hard being a comedian that isn't hateful. Because like, you know, you want to still show up, you still want to be on stage, and like, you don't want to keep feeling othered by everybody because you're not like on Kill Tony or whatever. Why is everybody so fixated on that fucking show?
Oh my god, yeah.
He's
I had
awful.
Somebody told me recently, like, oh, this comedian from Kill Tony's my favorite one, and I don't go to this mic because it's too woke. And I'm like, oh, it really sucks to be like, this is what I do. It's how I spend so many of my evenings, and it's a big core of my personality. And it's like a lot of what I talk about is like, oh, this is how this set went, or this is the new joke I'm working on. Like with my friends, with my queer friends, or with my black and brown friends. And like, do you want to come see a show? It's gonna be miserable. There's people are gonna say horrible things about you on stage. Like that's just the environment that I live in all the time, and you and I learn to accept it because that's what we have to do because that's the job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I don't want to, I feel bad bringing anyone else into it.
I know.
And like, that's the environment we have to work with? That sucks.
It shouldn't be that way. And I think like, that's why it is so crucial to find like your community and your support network within like your scene, wherever it is. And like, so I roll with a lot of like female queer comedians and also guys that are like not gross. And like, but a really good litmus test is like when we go to a mic and someone says something shitty, like I'll look at all the guys and be like, okay, this circle got smaller. But what are some of the other tools or strategies that you have when feeling like you're kind of in a hateful environment?
I have been working a lot on being okay with being a bit, I guess I'll say a bit of a loner, which sounds like a negative term, but I'm trying to make it feel less negative to me. If I'm on a show where every other comic is like a cis white man who's going to go up there and do like some kind of
Boobs,
heinous
butt,
stuff.
gay, blah.
Yeah. Then I'm like, it's okay if I'm sitting by myself.
If I have to sit with you, I'd rather sit by myself.
Yeah.
Yes, I get
Which
it.
feels sometimes to me like a moral failing.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm not doing the socializing, I'm not doing the networking, I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
To just be like, I'm gonna sit here, maybe I'll write in my notebook, maybe I'll go on my phone. Like, that feels like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I do wanna push myself. I could be having more fun if I was talking to people, or there could be value in that.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being a little anxious and I wish I wasn't. And I want sometimes to be like, it's all right if I'm like, it's not my environment and I need to be here for whatever reason, stage time's useful. I'm here for being up there. I don't need to be here for all of that.
So I think there's a difference between being like alone and lonely, right? Where it's like,
Yes.
it would be different if you were like, well, I'm by myself because like, I don't feel like I know how to connect with these people and I want to. That would be different.
I don't know, I want to be friendly, but I'm also like, want to have a little bit more of an air of like,
Don't fuck with me.
Don't fuck with me. I'm gonna sit in a corner. I'm totally cool here, and if you don't come up to me, great. I think that makes just a safer thing at an open mic. Men got weird to me this year. In Charlotte specifically, men got kind of weird.
Yeah. I hate that guys have been like weird to you. When you like,
People who haven't seen me before, right? Well, treat me like it's my first open mic every time.
I hate that.
But even if they're newer than me, this mic's pretty cool.
I feel like it sometimes can be a power thing where it's like you've introduced yourself to this comedian like 16 times.
Yep.
And every time you go out, they're always like, oh, hey, like, are you new here? And you're like, no, you've met me. Don't make me feel forgettable. Fuck you.
Yeah, there's like a type of person that earns their respect faster. And
I hate that you have had people be weird to you, especially comedians, like in your own community. That's shitty. And again, like, I think it's extremely important for there to be diversity in a lineup, in a scene, on stage, because the audience is diverse. Like, regardless of the broad sweeping statements of like the South being, you know, sometimes intolerant, a lot of people move here. There's transplants everywhere. I'm not from here. You're the only person I've met from here, I'll be honest. Yeah, like, so there's a lot of people that are in the audience that are like women, that are like brown or black or like trans or queer or whatever. And so like, how many dick jokes do they gotta sit through before they see someone that either looks like them or they can relate to or they find funny?
I know what like my demo is. It's like young queer people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll be a crowd of those in whatever kind of venue I'm in.
Right.
Where I'm like, I go up and I'm like, oh, this is gonna do well. And it does. And I'm like, that's almost a wash if it was
Right.
like all my demo.
Right.
Which I don't like. I'm like, oh, but I wrote material that really speaks to people.
Yeah, they connected with
And
it.
like, because I wrote what I know,
Yeah.
and I did that successfully, and they connected with it, and then people come up to me and be like, that was really good. Sometimes they come up and say that was really meaningful. And like, that means a lot, and I want to let it mean more. Sometimes I let it wash off me a little too much. But I'm like, oh, I know when I go to a show, it is so rare to see a trans comic or somebody speaking well to trans issues or queer issues or whatever.
Yeah.
Something that makes me really laugh because I feel really spoken to.
Yeah, you feel seen. Yeah.
And that's a good, meaningful thing to aim for and achieve. And when I worry about talking too much about being trans on stage, and I'm like, am I doing too much of one thing?
I don't think you talk too much about being trans, because if you think about like anyone else, most of the first chunk of their set is going to be an identity something, right?
Right.
Like one of my, almost always my opener is like, I know I look like I'm Mexican, I'm not, fuck off. Like you're stating the obvious right away. To just be like, this is who I am, you know? But from your experience and everything in Charlotte,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that Charlotte, as a comedy scene and community, can do to be more inclusive and more welcoming?
Ooh, good question. Challenging the people who are being shitty, which is really hard for a host to do. And the host has to not be shitty. But it's on somebody. The term ally gets thrown around a lot, and I think it could lose a lot of meaning because people are like, what's that mean? I'm friends with people? But like, you have a lot of power as a cis white host to be like, hey, that joke was fucking racist. Don't do that one. Or at the top of the show, be like, if you do a racist, if you do a transphobic, if you do whatever joke, I'm gonna cut you off. And actually do that. And I've seen that done in other scenes. I haven't seen it done in Charlotte. It makes it uncomfortable. It makes the audience uncomfortable. They wish it wasn't happening. But all the people who are impacted by that joke wish it wasn't happening too. And then it helps it happen less in the future. And I think it makes your scene better overall. And like, I think it gives you a lot of credibility.
Yeah.
As a like, this is actually going to be a safe space. And that will, like, it's beneficial for everybody. It creates an environment where you're like, this becomes a place where queer people want to come and do stand-up.
Right.
And that means your mic will be better because queer people are funny.
And also, again, it's like, it's a type of perspective that like is underrepresented in comedy. So like, give them an opportunity to like be on stage.
I've had like hosts be super transphobic, and then I go on and I'm like, I know what all the crowd is thinking, and it's just tough for it to be like, the onus is all on me to like address that and get the audience back on my side, and it's not impossible. It's totally doable.
But it's
like,
also, it shouldn't be your fucking responsibility.
yeah, it's part like the world's here and people are here, and comedy is going to be a reflection of that. And I know some of that is going to be like, a lot of my jokes are working around people's preconceived notions, and that's okay. But also, there are a lot of people that could help out with that process.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for telling me that. I think that that is an important thing to communicate to people. As much as people love being loudmouths on the mic and stuff, like when it comes to actually like standing up for each other, we're not great at it.
It's fucking tough for us because, like we were saying, like we get the one spot on the show.
Yeah.
And the group of people booking the shows are in this tight-knit group, and that guy's their friend. And like, what are we gonna do? Yell out in the middle of the show and be like, "Fuck you, get off the stage"?
Yeah.
Like, no, we'll never get booked again.
Whereas like, these straight white dudes can take a hit. They'll
Yeah.
recover, like they always do. Anytime I start to feel a little bit discouraged, or I get in a dry spell where I'm maybe not getting booked as much, I start to think about like, if there is like some like little funny brown girl somewhere online that comes across one of my like clips and is like, oh, I've always wanted to try stand up, but like nobody does it that looks like me. Like the idea of her like coming across some of my stuff or seeing me, like makes me want to cry, because I just think about the fact that like being able to inspire someone to go like, well, if they do it, then I can do it. Like that feels like worth it enough. It feels like it's worth it to withstand like the bullshit and to rise above it and be better and be funnier. So I kind of do it almost out of spite, but like, I don't know if it feels the same for you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I did a lot of like on TikTok. A lot of the sketches I made were about being trans specifically. That was kind of just what came easiest to me to write.
Yeah.
And when I was getting bigger on there, a lot of the comments I was getting was trans people being like, "This is so funny," and then like, "This is so like, I'm glad you're saying this." This is very relatable, because a lot of it was like frustrations with cis people or whatever,
Right.
and like younger trans people DMing me, being like, "This, can you give me tips?" And I'm not responding to that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wow, that means a lot.
Yeah.
And that's useful, and I think a lot about like why I do stand up, and if there's some deeper meaning to it. I don't know what percentage of the meaning is like, I want someone to feel heard.
Yeah.
But it's something, and I think there's a reason I write the kind of stuff I do.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I write like piss jokes. So
Right.
I don't know.
Right. That's the thing. That's what's cool about being like a multifaceted, like nuanced creative. You know, like you don't have to stick to one topic or one kind of like emotion. You can bounce around and still have like impactful things to say and impactful jokes to tell. But I'm grateful that you are in the comedy community. I'm grateful I got to meet you.
You too.
I definitely need to come up to Chapel Hill and see what's going on. Check